Personality-based sponsoring works more than anything else. It's identifying people whose personalities are right for the business because the business is right for them. So here's some bird personalities we'll go through right now. You are a peacock if you are talkative. You love to talk. You love to dress. You're a peacock if you were wearing a boa this morning at 7:30 and the banket's been over about 7 hours. They're peacocks. Peacocks are driven by the need to be center of attention. You'll find your peacocks at the party because they'll be in the front row. And every time you talk about something, they'll be saying, oh, that'll be good for you. Oh, you should use that. Or I use that. And they answer every question. Peacocks are wonderful for this business because they're the ultimate networkers, but they're loud. Now, the interesting thing about peacocks is they're so easy to sponsor because this business is made for it. We give them that recognition. You don't even have to. You just say, look, here's the agreement, sign there, and I'll tell you what you're doing later. Because, seriously, this technique's weak. You know why it works? Because if you said to a peacock, oh, let me tell you about the compensation plan, there are peacocks in this room who still don't know there is a compensation plan. It always amazes you when your check appears every month. Wow, I wonder where that comes from. You get paid for doing this? So you tell peacocks we're all going off to Maui. And then what about our next personality type? What about our dove? You're a dove in the room if there's a seat next to you because you're saving it for someone who came late. Probably a peacock, right? You're a dove if you have already, I saw somebody in the elevator just yesterday, she's already written out the postcards to send home because you see doves are driven by a need to care about others, worthwhile contribution. If you have already bought gifts to take home to your kids, your people you've sponsored, you're probably a dove. You're wonderful for this business because you look after your customers. Peacocks forget about them. And you're wonderful for this business because you are a loyal, generous leader. You really care about helping people. You have to get those people, but the trouble is the peacocks are in the way, waving their hands. So when you're at a party, when you see the person sitting one row back and it doesn't look like they're really paying attention, you have to walk right through those peacocks. But say to them, sign an agreement while I go past, and you reach out to that dove and you say something like, wow, you would be amazing in this business. You just have such a lovely aura about you. I'd love to talk to you later. And you don't talk to her now, you call her the next morning. You got me? What about the robins? Robins are wonderful for this business because robins love to be involved in a group. They're social, they don't want the limelight. They're not necessarily nurturing, they are nurturing. You're a robin if you asked somebody before you came down last night, should I wear this? You go shopping because you want a friend to say, does that work for you? Now, this is not to be confused with guys in the room. If your wife says to you, do I look a little bit chunky in this? This is not the thing. Your only thing, if that happens, is run, right? Just so you know, I don't want to put this workshop out of the way. But you watch the robins. They're asking somebody else for their opinion. What do you think? Do you think this looks right for me? Do you think I should do this? Because robins are social birds and they love other people's opinion. They're adaptable. They're wonderful in the team because they will always go along with everybody else. They're absolutely wonderful. But they won't jump out at you. You have to look for that robin. You watch them by the signals they give, and you have to, again, talk about inclusiveness. You would so fit into our group. You're just delightful. You would so fit in is a wonderful word to use, phrase to use for a dove. So for a robin. What about our wrens? Now, I know my accent is a little funny, so I'll spell that for you. W-R-E-N. Anyone in this room wasn't really keen on coming to convention or got a little bit of nerves of coming convention? Will I know anybody? I just don't know if I'm going to fit in. Is it all going to be too much? You probably, can I ask, if you really are at happiest when you're at home with your family, that's when you're happy with your husband and your children and your very close family, and large groups just make you feel a little bit uncomfortable. If you're in this room, I'd ask you to stand because you're probably sitting on the outsides of the room. Anyone prefer to be at family? You love convention, but thank you so much for standing. I really appreciate it. And you look, there she is. And thank you so much. They're on the outsides of the aisles. Of course they are, because they find you peacocks terrifying. And you know what else? They're on the outside, and let's hope that you've actually been reaching out to these people, because let me tell you about the wren. The wren is totally driven by security. They will do anything to look after their family and to provide a good lives for themselves. They are such hard workers. They will do what they need to do, and they are wonderful for the business. But if you're only going for the peacocks, the doves, the robins, and you forget the wrens, and what a shame there was only 2 people in the room now when we could have so many more, because we make more money than in a regular job. So are you with me? We look out to these people. Let's do a couple more. We have our eagles. Now, eagles, you're in the back row if you didn't turn your cell phone off and you've got it on vibrate in case an important call comes in, right? We've got some eagles in the room. Eagles are the one, they walk fast. Even though there were about 20 of us waiting for the elevators yesterday, eagles just come straight up and they feel it's their right to get in first regardless. And they go in, and here's the funny thing, they go in first, which means they should be at the back, but somehow when the elevator opens, they're at the front. Because eagles are ambitious. They love power and status and recognition. If you are carrying a gold card or a platinum card and you are paying 3 times the amount that the rest of us are paying for our credit card, you're probably an eagle. Out with the credit card. Why are eagles great for this business? Well, they're great for this business because they're ambitious, charismatic, persuasive, and they're natural leaders. Extreme eagles are incredibly irritating because they tend to ignore people. They tend to be obnoxious. It's like my way or the highway. But a powerful eagle, someone who is ambitious, a social climber, wants the status and recognition. Do we do status and recognition better than anybody? Of course we do. But how do you approach them? You have to be organized. They'll want to know that you've got your facts together. They'll want to know you know what you're talking about, and they'll ask you tough questions because they want to challenge you. Because eagle's all about it's you or me. Both of us can't be the leader. They will ask you tough questions. You have to be ready. And if they ask you a question you can't answer, you say, I don't know, I'll get back to you on that one. But you don't say, oh, I don't know. You go, I'll get back to you on it. Talking to an eagle. One more, and there are a few more, but we'll do the most common ones now. Owls. You're an owl if you counted your underwear before you came here, so you had exactly the right number to last you every day. Okay, I need during the day, probably need an extra pair for night, another pair, and a spare. How many of you did that? How many of you actually count? Oh, look at our owls. Look at our owls. Owls love facts, figures, and numbers. Owls, you are into knowledge and understanding. We love the owls, but let me tell you something about the owl. The owl, somehow their brain doesn't connect to their face. Have you ever done a party and you're talking to the group and you're going on about your products and how wonderful they are, and the eagles are saying, well, you should get this, I'm this, and the eagles are participating, the doves are smiling at you because they're trying to help you out. You know, they really want you to feel good. You know, they're with you. The robins are looking around to see